Hi there. It's your second favorite DP right here, okay? No, that's Deadpool, you silly little Hufflepuff. Anyways, I'm gonna need you to shut up that pretty little mouth of yours and pay attention because the show's about to start, alright? And, I don't know about you, but I know who's my vote for sexiest ex-soldier turned pop culture show host. Alright, enough foreplay. Let's get on with the show.
Every week's an epic feat. They shed light on what's the trend. When will the madness ever end? From movies to the latest shows, you never know how far they'll go. Come aboard and take the ride. Let's uncover what's inside. Warriors of the night, here to fight. Pop culture explosions in the spotlight. Tune in for laughter and some cheers. Legends rising through the years.
Hey, everybody, welcome, one and all. Tonight is August 18th, 2026, and this is episode 251 of Pop Culture Warrior. It's the show where I stay up to date on all the ins and outs of what's happening in pop culture so you don't have to. As the little box said, I'm CQ. I am the Pop Culture Warrior. I am your Pop Culture Warrior. And tonight, Mad Mike is sadly not with us. He's in a He's in a better place. Actually, no, he's in a much, much worse place. He's watching kids play soccer. So, instead of Mad Mike, ladies and gentlemen, tonight I bring you the one, the only Mr. K. Mill, everybody. Woo!
Hey, all you geeks.
Bunch of nerds.
Nerd.
Nerds, geeks. I love the shirt, man. Phrasing. Are we still doing phrasing? Phrasing. Welcome. First and foremost, you haven't been here in a while. You haven't been here in a minute, man. We missed you. How you doing? How are you?
Been staying busy.
Yeah.
Doing lots of work, fun, some traveling, so just enjoying the summer.
Speaking of traveling, a little birdie on my Pop Culture Warrior page may have hinted at that you were at a convention this past weekend. Tell
Really?
us all about it.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, that's right. I forgot. Over this weekend, I was in Chicago. Flew to Chicago, dealt with O'Hare. I don't know if you happen to see the meme that that made its way to the main page about resiliency training in American Airlines out of Chicago Air. That may have been inspired by true events. Just going to put that out there. I don't know. Everyone complains about Atlanta, but until you try to use Chicago in the middle of storm season, which apparently is now the entire year, I don't want to hear anything about Atlanta. So,
Yeah.
But yeah. So I was able to piggyback on your coattails and get some press credentials for Fan Expo, and imposter syndrome the whole time. Especially when I got the notice that you had explained how Fan Expo you haven't had a lot of luck with it, so it was like, all right, I'll request these people and fully expect to not be able to get any interviews. And Saturday, in the evening, it was all of a sudden, hey, do you still want to interview Peter Facinelli? That's how he said it. Facinelli, because I was like, is it Facinelli or Facinelli? Because I've been around plenty of Italians. I wanted to say it Facinelli, but I was like, is it? Oh no, it's this. I was like, okay, yeah. But yeah, text message. You want to interview him? Like, hell yeah, I do. And I'd be at his booth. Only problem with that was those mics do not do too well that close to each other. And let's just say my tinnitus is going to be, was kicking in with all the crowds at that show. So, but anyways, had a great time. I know there are complaints at every con, and there was definitely a few more than normal with this show for understandable purposes. The main thing with the photo ops, that seems to be the biggest complaint for folks there, is the systems kept going down. So people paid all this money for these photo ops, and the systems kept going down, and people trying to mad dash, trying to get a refund, or could I move it from Dolph Lundgren to Mr. T? And then this morning, because a lot of these pictures, they couldn't print them out, I started seeing in the Facebook group that instead of emailing people individually their pictures, they were just sending everybody who had pictures done but didn't get it printed, was sending them the link for all 3,500 images to surf for their image. So unfortunate, I don't want to say anything negative about the show itself, but I think that was it, Epic is the name of that organization, because a lot of those services are all contracted out.
Yes.
This group that manages this service is contracted and this and that, and I think that was probably the biggest problem, is the lack of communication. But it happens with most of those big shows.
Yeah.
So
the thing is, a lot of people don't realize is that these conventions are very siloed and pillared. So the person that's doing social media isn't the same person that's doing, event organization, is the same person that's doing ticketing, is not the same person that's doing, handling celebrity interviews and like managing wranglers. And it is a madhouse. And what most people don't know is that 95% of the people working the con are volunteers. They're not even paid staff members. They're paid with a free ticket to the show. Like every person you see, basically every person you see, the only people that are like staffed employees are people working in like the offices, like doing
Right.
emails and things like that. But yeah, it is. Hey Heath, what's up, buddy? It is wild. It is absolutely wild. Uh, Look, I've made no bones about it. I do a lot of con coverage, a lot. We're gonna be doing more over the next year or two. Fan Expo is one of the shows because, unlike most conventions, which are like, hey, this is San Diego Comic Con, this is New York Comic Con, and they're all run independently and they all have their own companies. Fan Expo is this, it's the McDonald's of conventions. And so they have like 20 of them all over the country. And much like McDonald's, they're basically almost like they have their corporate structure, but they're all like individually owned and operated. So it's different teams running each show. And in my experience, they're not very well organized and not very well run. They used to be called Wizard World. It was the original company and people behind it. And back when it was Wizard World, I loved going. In fact, Wizard World Philadelphia was one of my favorite shows of the year. But when it became Fan Expo, it just me personally is
Wizard World New Orleans was my first con that I went to.
Yeah, and they were good shows, man. They were a lot of fun. They really did feel like they were for the fans. There's a lot to do, a lot to see. But do they have a working frosty machine? Sometimes. It says sometimes you're not allowed to keep your own press pass. That is true too. Some people go to a con and are told they have to turn in their press pass at the end of it, which is weird. Which is I personally have never ever been asked to turn in my pass at the end of a convention. So I can't speak to that. That is just strange. That is just very strange.
I will say for the press team, it was kind of a night and day experience compared to last year. We had those little initial hiccups last year and then didn't get a chance to do any interviews other than, that 30-second clip with Thomas Lennon I got lucky with. But this year I actually, got to know Tom, the main guy that we worked with. Really nice guy. Great communication. We even had like a chat where you could request, your interview request, and there was a chat in there where you're chatting with other guys, and a lot of the other press people were super friendly and give you tips as well. And especially when I did the interview with Jim Beaver, when it was in the actual like press area. It's interesting because I think somebody was confused. They're like, nah. I go, other cons, they have like a dedicated area. Like there's a green room for the celebrities, like Awesome Con, and they have that area where you can do your interviews.
Like the red carpet, yeah.
Right. And like the press guy said, we've requested that, and and we just never hear anything good back about it. I go, but apparently he's like, well, we do kind of like a press room, but I guess you could do some interviews there, but it's like on a different floor from the main floor. But I guess since Jim Beaver was situated on the top floor where the press room was, they coordinated like 3 of us to do interviews with him there. So
the idea is that, hopefully, let's just say you intend to go back next year and cover it for us again. You build those relationships, and that's one thing I have noticed is, especially that first time, that second time, it's really hard to kind of get your foot in the door and get a lay of the land and all that. But as you build those relationships and they go, oh yeah, I'd like to say that we run a really professional ship here. You know what I mean? We have the audience that backs it up, and we also put our best foot forward on the ground. And so people remember us. When I was in San Diego Comic-Con a couple weeks ago, I had so many people like, yeah, I remember you. Like it's good when you can leave a positive impact and it stays up to a year later. And it definitely opens doors to other opportunities. So I'm excited to see what what comes of it for you and for us. And yeah.
Jim Beaver said he actually remembered me too. So from Awesome Con, which was pretty cool. Mainly because I said this is the person I had you do the shout out for the girlfriend. He goes, "Oh, you, the one that you talked all the good stuff to," and I was like, "This man, all right."
Like, man right there. He knows how to play the game. Very good. He's so many nice things about you. That's funny because I had a similar experience with when you and I were at Awesome Con, and we were talking to AJ Locasio. I remember how to say it now. And he's like, "Dude, we've met before." And I'm in his face going like, "Nope, never met you." He's like, "No, we've talked. You interviewed me." I'm like, "Nope, never happened." I'm like, I remember every single person I've talked to. And he goes, "WTF Nation Radio." Like, I remember the military guys there. And then he starts cueing me into who he talked to. And I went, "Oh, it was us. It wasn't me, but it was us. It was one of the other guys." And then I'm like, then it all clicked. And I'm like, "Oh, okay." But again, the fact that was back in New York Comic Con, upwards of like 8 months before that. So the fact that that we left a positive impact on him, someone who probably did hundreds of interviews at New York Comic Con and has probably talked to thousands of more people since New York Comic Con, for him to then remember us. I think it also helps that we're WTF Nation Radio. I mean, part of that, I just think burrows into your mind a bit because it's like, oh, WTF, that's interesting. But anyway, this CQ has always been a smooth operator. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Give me 100 examples of me being a smooth operator. I bet you can't. Yeah. So it's very. I'm glad you got to do it. I'm super super happy. I'm glad that it was a overall a beneficial time. Smooth as gravel. God bless you, Scott. I love it. But for you, K-Mill, I want to thank you, obviously, on behalf of Pop Culture Warrior, WTF Nation Radio. Thank you for going out and covering that and being such a good team player. And, knowing that, me being not necessarily doom and gloom, but like, I just want you to, leverage your expectations.
Manage expectations.
Just set the bar real low, real low. But you knocked it out of the park, man. You did awesome. Great interviews, and meeting the people and talking to people, putting a good face for us as a channel and as a station out there. So we appreciate that. And speaking of which, later tonight, about 45 minutes to be precise, during the second hour, we have a special guest joining us. This dude is an absolute legend. He's going to be here to talk about Dragon Con, celebrating its 40th show anniversary this year. We will be in attendance. Pop Culture Warrior and WTF Nation Radio will be live from Dragon Con. And we're going to talk all about it. It's going to be a phenomenal conversation. Listen, Elf, we don't talk about the time with the Command Sergeant Major's daughter. That was private. You don't. We don't talk about that. That was different. That was a different time. I was a different man back then. Anyway, so yes, we have Charles McFall coming on to talk about Dragon Con and just all things pop culture, which is perfect in our lead up to. We're like 2 weeks away from Dragon Con, which is insane. I'm so fucking excited. It is my first time going to Dragon Con, and we'll talk about this later tonight, but just the idea that Dragon Con has such a devoted and rabid fan base, and it is unlike any other convention. And even though I haven't been there, I've heard the stories, I've done the research. Everyone who has been there says it is unlike any other convention. So I'm so excited to finally get to experience it firsthand and capture that and also bring it to you. It's going to be awesome. So very excited. We'll talk all about that. But have you ever done Dragon Con? No, right? You've never been to Dragon Con?
No, I trying to think. I think I've had some friends do Dragon Con.
Yeah.
I think I've heard mostly good things about it.
Yeah. There's always some interesting stories coming out of Dragon Con. And like I said, we'll talk all about it later. But the thing that always jumps out to me the most is where most conventions, like it's at a convention center, open hours, close hours, rinse and repeat, copy paste. It's all the same. Dragon Con isn't in a central location. It is actually 5 different hotels all in a small area, and they all kind of represent Dragon Con. And it is 24/7. Like there are parties, there are rooms happening at all hours of the day and night. The daytime's really meant for the families and the kids, and the nighttime apparently is for the adventurous type that are looking to get their D&D on.
So it's like they took the convention, which is usually a single. It's like they took a mall and then turned it into one of those outdoor malls.
Yeah,
decentralized it.
Yes, it's the decentralized. It's the NFT of conventions. It's decentralized. It's crypto. It's the crypto of conventions. It's decentralized. I like that. But yeah, so we'll talk all about that later. For now, so many things happening this week in pop culture. First and foremost, because I would be remiss if I were to not talk about Spider-Man. I got to squeeze Spider-Man into it's contractually obligated. It's in my writer that I have to talk about Spider-Man in some small way in every episode. First, go ahead.
You're not going to talk about spoilers because I still haven't had a chance to go out and see it yet.
You still haven't seen Spider-Man, Brandon? What is wrong with you?
I've been busy.
Oh, you're fired. You know what? No, where's the button? And he's gone. I'm kidding. Come back. I'm kidding. No spoilers. No spoilers. Other than to say it is the best Spider-Man movie. Now, is it my favorite Spider-Man movie? No. Because I love No Way Home, because I love the fact that they brought together the 3 generations of Spider-Man. So that to me it's hard to beat. But Is it the single best Spider-Man movie ever made? Arguably, yeah. It is that good. Best depiction of Spider-Man in a movie. Like his moves, his quips, his unrelenting guilt. Like it's just so Spider-Man. Anyway, I congratulate them because they have continued, Spider-Man, to dominate the box office. They have passed $2 billion globally. What? The movie has made $2 billion. That is insane. What did you see with interest, with inflation?
With inflation.
Tariffs. Half of that's tariffs. Importing them goddamn tickets. They imported them. Listen, when I looked at the numbers, Endgame, which was up until recently the biggest box office of all time, it hit just over 2 billion in, I want to say it was like 180 days. It was something like that. The time it took Spider-Man 18 days to hit 2 billion. So arguably, Avengers Endgame, one of the most incredible, audacious spectacles of cinema history. 10 years in the making, 20-something movies in the making, and got to 2 billion, which is phenomenal. But in 180 days, for Spider-Man to do it in 18 days, let's fucking go! Woo! Way to go, Spider-Man.
At this point, do they really need my ticket now?
At this point, there's no point. But no, it continues to make more and more and more. The North American box office this week had Spider-Man at the top again. Second place was The Odyssey again. And then you had Paw Patrol, the Dino movie, and the end of Oak Street as the kind of the runner-ups. I mean, Spider-Man is just it. I think it's his third week in the theaters. It made 70 million. There are movies that on their opening weekend can't make 70 million, let alone their whole run can't make 70 million. And here this movie is 3 weeks in, which is usually when you start to see the death spiral of most superhero movies, and it's pulling in $70 million. It is amazing. It says here, it is the currently the fourth biggest domestic release of all time. That's insane. It's already the movie that's made the most money. It's already past Avengers Endgame in total gross. But yeah, man. It says here, with 118 million from overseas markets, it surpassed 2 billion globally. Only the 8th movie ever to achieve that landmark, and the second fastest to do so. Endgame, well, actually, nope. So see here it says Endgame did it in 11 days, whereas Brand New Day did it in 18. So I got to check my reports here, because the last one I read said it took longer. But here it's saying that it was still for it to do what Endgame did, which, you know, took 10 years and 22 movies and a lot of hype to do, and it had the lead-in of Avengers Infinity War. Spider-Man Brand New Day just did it in 18 days and was like, hold my beer, hold my web shooters. Still pretty, yes. I have a Spider-Man costume. It's funny on Halloween. How dare you? How dare you? Don't mock the greatness of Spider-Man, right? Do you have a mask? Do you have web shooters? You have a pumpkin bomb? Yeah, I didn't think so, right? You're not as cool as me. So sad. So sad. Man, Toy Story 3, actually, or Toy Story 5, I should say, still brought in like $2 million, which is impressive because that's been out for a little while. So yeah, big kudos to Spider-Man. K-Mill, if you don't see Spider-Man in the next 5 days, you are fired.
Okay.
Fired, banned, and possibly burned at the stake. I don't know. We'll see how things play out. But yeah, you're not allowed back on Pop Culture Warrior until you've seen the greatest pop culture movie of all time. Period. Understand? All right, cool. Good. Glad we're on the same page on that. Speaking of Disney properties, D23 happened. And for those, I don't know how you would not know, but for those that don't know, D23 is basically San Diego Comic-Con for all things Disney. It's only Disney properties. And for those laymen that think Disney is just all animated kid movies, that's all of Marvel, all of Star Wars, all of ESPN, all of the traditional Disney animated movies, all of, animation, all of theme parks, all like Disney is this mecha giant of everything. And now they own Hulu and they own FX and they own, just about every franchise known to man. They own the Aliens franchise. They own, what else? The Avatar franchise, just anything and everything. They own it all. And yeah. So a lot of big things were coming out of D23. Most notably, we finally have the cast of the X-Men movie.
Oh, yeah.
We have been talking about X-Men joining the MCU since they bought Fox, 8 years ago at this point? No, it would have been during COVID, so 2020, 6 years ago. 6 years ago, Disney purchased Fox, and the number one thing people said was, oh my God, that means the X-Men can join the MCU now because they own the characters back. And we got Fantastic Four joining the universe before we got the X-Men. But finally, we have the X-Men. Obviously, I can't spoil things. There may or may not have been a reference in Spider-Man. Possibly, maybe. Who knows? I won't spoil anything. But we now have the full lineup of who will be the X-Men, including, this was rumored for a while. People were saying like Adam Driver was going to be Magneto, and then they're like, no, he's not going to be Magneto. And we finally have the real is that Adam Driver has been hired on to play Mr. Sinister of all things, which I think is phenomenal casting. I don't know. You an X-Men fan? You familiar with all the characters and whatnots?
I'm not a fanatic, maybe not like you, but definitely I remember watching all the movies and the cartoons when I was younger.
Yeah.
My one buddy back from Texas, definitely, like, I always look out for action figures for him. He's like, let me know if you see Gambit. Let me know if you see Rogue. Or,
Yeah.
he's like, I already got that one. I'll send him pictures. Now I got that one already. But yeah, I'm familiar with the characters.
Yes. Mr. Sinister is arguably, when you take away like the top guys like Magneto and Apocalypse, Mr. Sinister is one of those core kind of villains for the X-Men saga. And I think Adam Driver, and I said this weeks ago when it was rumored, I think Adam Driver's a phenomenal choice. I said he'd be terrible for Magneto. I don't think that'd be a good at all. But Mr. Sinister, oh yeah. I think he can. I think he can really chew it up on Mr. Sinister. And then there were a lot of other names that were brought into, like, who's playing Cyclops, who's playing Jean, who's playing Emma Frost, who's playing Storm, all these. And then one of the ones that was the most exciting is that the breakout star of Obsession, Indy Navarrete, who plays Freaky Nikki, has been cast to play Rogue in the X-Men, which I think is huge. I got into this argument with my lady, all right? We watched Obsession. I loved it. She was like, meh. I was like, you're wrong. But I said, I think we are seeing a star is born, basically. Like, we're seeing, like, it would be, I'm trying to think of who is just one of the most legendary actresses of all time. Like, I'm trying to think who jumps to mind, obviously like Scarlett Johansson, who's in just about everything. Angelina Jolie there for a couple years was mega superstar. But like, I think we are seeing birthed the next big thing. And when we saw that movie and we walked out, I literally looked at her. I go, you're going to see this girl in everything. You're going to see her in everything because she fucking crushed that movie. She was the single biggest highlight of that movie. And I'm like, she's going to be cast in everything. Like, she is going to be the next big thing. And wouldn't you know it, ring, 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 she is Rogue in the X-Men. And they're going to sign her up for like a 7-picture deal to do the whole mutant saga and probably pop up in the shows and the movies and the video games and the crossovers and the whatevers. We need a slow burn with the MCU X-Men movies. Yeah, Wayne says they still haven't done Rogue right. If you're talking about live action, yes, I agree. It's hard to argue that the animated series Rogue isn't the definitive Rogue right now, which shout out to Lenore Zahn, who did the voice.
Oh, yeah.
Incredible. Love her to
nice
death.
Lady.
Maybe you'll see her coming up soon. Sigourney Weaver. Yes. I would say for a period of time was one of the biggest female stars, through the Aliens, through the Ghostbusters. But I would say that kind of diminished a bit over time. I'm thinking like you're freaking, what's the one chick? Oh God. I was gonna say Marilyn Monroe, but that's not who I meant. Meredith Streep? Meredith Streep? Is that it? I mean,
Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Meredith Vieira, whoever. It doesn't matter. But yeah.
I mean, she was more of a dramatic.
Yeah.
Meryl Streep.
I'm just saying, like, someone who transformed Like I'm thinking like the Christian Bale of women, of actresses, right? I mean, someone who just transformed themselves into a role. Dolly Parton. You know what? Jamie Lee Curtis. Are you guys just naming off women from the 80s? Is that what you're doing now? You're just naming women off the Beyonce. No. So anyway, I'm so super excited for that. Burgess Meredith. Damn, you guys, it's hilarious. Oh man. You know what? Oh, what was B. Arthur? B. Arthur, that legend. Golden Girls. No. Ooh, there's one for you. What's her name? God damn it.
How about the Devil Wears Prada?
God, fucking. I'm just. How am I not B. Arthur? Who's the other one? The funny one, the little one. Fuck.
The
Golden Girl, little one.
Betty White.
Betty White. Jesus Christ, I couldn't think of a fucking name. Betty White. God bless her. Sydney Sweeney. Yeah, she's a future Sydney Sweeney. Yeah. Jennifer Lopez. All right, stop it. All right. Calm down. Getting ahead of ourselves. Anyway. But yeah, there was a lot more that came out of D23, like a lot of the animated stuff. So they're doing like Frozen 3 and Coco 2 and, you know, lots of sequels to stuff. There's a lot of new stuff. Gato and a bunch of others. B. Arthur's pure gold. Yes, she's too good. She was too good for us. She's gone too soon. You know, obviously, what else? What are the other ones? The D23, they had, God, it was on my, now you guys got me all fucking, you got me all wild up with the names now. And I'm all fucking, oh God. Star Wars Ahsoka, Star Wars
Rosario Dawson.
There you go. Jenna Jameson. Stop it. Oh my God. Although she is quite an actress. Pamela Anderson, right? Yeah. But no, Star Wars Starfighter, Star Wars Ahsoka season 2. You know, a lot of really good stuff was announced. They showed just a little bit about everything. Yeah, it's very exciting. I think the future is bright. I am glad that Marvel chose to put a little bit into San Diego Comic-Con and then leave a little bit for D23. I think that was a smart move on their part to just to diversify their fandoms that way. Paris Hilton, Jesus Christ, Scott, you're oh my God,
that's hot.
It's so hot.
How do you feel about Starfighter?
Okay, I'm gonna say something that
you're not gonna get on the Gosling hate train, are you?
First of all, I love me some Goss. I'm a Gossophile. All right, I've seen every Goss product out there. Okay, very excited for the Goss doing Ghost Rider. What I'm about to say, I need to not be judged for. Okay, this is a safe place. This is
not doing you any favors. Like, you could say the nicest thing now, and people are just going to think you're still being a dick.
I've never been the biggest Star Wars fan.
Oh.
Here's the thing. I have seen just about everything, right? I've even read some of the books and the comics and things, and I appreciate it for what it is. I do. It's cultural relevance. You know, a lot of the hero archetypes that have come from it that, you know, have been repeated over time. Like, I can appreciate the nuances and the different things. I'm just not a big Star Wars fan. Don't get me wrong. I still put it above Star Trek. I'm less affinity for Star Trek. I'm canceling my paycheck.
Now you're losing points for me as well.
Listen, I love sci-fi stuff. I do. And again, same thing with Star Trek. I appreciate its cultural relevance. I appreciate that. Goddamn, how much has it gotten right? 70 years ahead of its time. Like how much it predicted to be true. You know, it is, as long as I say it's superior to Star Trek. I just.
Where can I ban Scott?
Which button is the ban Scott button?
Oh crap! I'm not logged in right.
So look, I don't knock anyone who's into it. I get it. I don't know why it never. You know, like all right, you know, Jedi and the Sith and like fucking space ninja cops, basically fucking. It's just Knights of the Old in space. You know what I mean? Like it's just King Arthur in space. You know what I mean? Like I just he's not into Spider-Man. Hurts, doesn't it? Listen, you can be wrong. It's okay. You can be wrong. But no, I don't knock it. I respect it. I have so much admiration and respect for guys like Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford, and they built an entire career. They launched into the stratosphere from that position. Carrie Fisher became a fucking. How many people became a man when they saw Princess Leia in the gold bikini? Like that was it for some people. Star Trek is only 60 years old. Star Wars will be 50 next year. Okay. Thank you for that nerd math. I appreciate it. But you know, it just, okay. I didn't want to get into the whole thing about it. So to answer your question, was Starfighter? I'm interested to see what they do with it. You know, I mean, I was okay with the original movies. And when the prequels came out, I was okay with them, and everybody lambasted them and lampooned them, whatever. And I was fine with them. And then years later, when the sequel trilogy came out, everybody poo-pooed that one. And then all of a sudden was like, oh, the original trilogy or the original sequel prequel trilogies were the best. And like, I've always been like, yeah, they're fine. Like nothing has ever been like, oh my God, you know, like they're good. I enjoy them. They're fun. And you know, I like the Grogu and Mandalorian shows are great. And I've watched the Clone Wars and you know, I have friends that are voice actors for the Star Wars series. Vanessa Marshall, who's one of my nearest and dearest. I love her to death.
Nice lady.
Lovely lady, the voice of Hera Syndulla, you know, in the Star Wars universe. And
it's going to be great when I take a clip of this and send it to her. Now that I'm on her radar.
First of all, I think Vanessa is the shining star of the Star Wars universe, all right? She's the most underutilized, underserved character in the Star Wars universe. So, yes. We're flexing. Yes, I'm flexing that I know a voice actor. But yes, it you know, as far as I'm curious to see what they do with it. I'm sure it's going to be good. I'm sure it'll be good, and I'm sure I will enjoy it. I do really enjoy Ryan Gosling's performances, and I'm not into comics. God bless it. There you go. Everybody go ahead, put in your deepest, darkest, I don't know, what do we call this? It's the don't judge me, but you know, like we're put in our deepest shames, you know, where what we're not into in the pop culture sphere. What about you, K-Mill? What's that thing for you that you're not as high on as everyone else in the pop culture world?
Ooh, you know, I feel like this should be an easy answer. You know, if you hadn't gone into that long
diatribe,
or whatever you want to call it, I probably would have said Star Wars. Mm-hmm. I'm not, you know, like you, I don't dislike it. I'm just, you know, and I know all the characters and I've watched the shows and all that. I'm just not a diehard. I don't have a lightsaber or a robe or a Darth Maul mask. I mean, you got more than me on that front. So I'm definitely a Star Trek guy because I'm more of a nerd than geek, I think, in that sense. I feel like Star Wars folks are more fantasy geeks and Star Trek is more science nerds. You
Sure.
know, Star Trek fans, we get into, breaking down how the warp drive actually works and whether it would actually work or not. And so, and I think the geeks, if you have your geeks in Star Wars who debate whether or not mid-chlorians or whatever you want to call them were actually made sense or if it was just a bad idea on George Lucas's part.
Yeah,
I will give George Lucas props because there was that meme that popped up, a few months ago where it was citing the prequels where it's like, oh yeah, everybody thought the premise of a civil war over a trade route was stupid 20 years ago, but now here we are, the Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah. Well, it's all being orchestrated by the Sith. We know. So okay, and let's see. Yeah, I was waiting for the bombshell to be like, I don't think Harry Potter's very good. So, I've never understood it. Devilry, wizardry, devil worship. But no, I that's the thing. I respect everyone's whatever is they're into, whatever fandom they're into, and whatever they geek out about. We talk about it all the time. That's the great thing about pop culture is that you could be into whatever you want. You could even say it could be vehicles, right? It could be cars. I know guys that are gearheads. Like, that's pop culture. People understand what a cool car is. That's part of the mainstream. You could be sports. You can be passionate about a team. That's pop culture in a way, right? The teams become relevant.
I will say, in the entire geek fandom, the people that annoy me the most are probably the cosplayers who walk around with a speaker. Out of everything, whether it's a convention or whatever, those are the people that I wish could be like identified and brought out into the parking lot and beat with their own speakers. Like, why do you need to blast that music? I'm trying to have a conversation here. My tinnitus is rolling. My girlfriend had to put her earbuds in, so the crowd wasn't tingling her ears too much, and then here you come with your crappy club EDM music that everyone's got to hear, and you're not even dancing or doing anything. It has nothing to do with your cosplay. You're just have mommy issues. Anyways,
they just need attention. So to be clear, we're not talking about something that like a costume that has a speaker. Like sometimes you have the stormtroopers that have like the little speakers so they can talk out. You mean someone that has like a boom box and is blasting music that is just obscenely loud and irrelevant and just screaming for attention, basically. Pay attention to me. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with you that those shouldn't be allowed. You shouldn't. That is.
When I did an interview with Jeremy Clark, who's a professional inker at Fan Expo, and you'll probably like during the interview, you'll notice that like halfway through, somebody started blasting some shit music over in the corner. And I got to look at the video again, but I'm sure my face is like,
you're twitching.
And then I caught myself like, don't look at it. Don't look at it. Don't look at it.
That, this one time I was I want to say it was Contropolis, New Jersey. And I was so lucky enough to get a few minutes with Dante Bosco, who is
nice.
He was what was his Rufio in the Lost Boys in the Peter Pan Hook movie. He's voice in
was it Avatar?
Avatar: The Last Airbender. And so there were so many really cool things, and I'm like, it's so cool. He gave me 5 minutes to talk to him. I'm sitting down. I'm like, we're setting up. This is perfect. It's quiet. And we start doing the interview. And then all of a sudden, just the loudest music comes from like 2 or 3 tables down. And it was Joey Fatone of NSYNC with, who was the other one? Murr from Impractical Jokers, and they basically just start singing and they drew this huge crowd, and it's like I'm trying to do an interview with Dante Bosco, and it was a waste. And of course, and they're singing copyrighted music too, so it wasn't even like I could just I would get a fucking copyright strike if I post the interview. But I'm like, these motherfuckers. I was like, God damn it, Joey Fatone, this is the last fucking time you cross me. Anyway,
we should make a PCW shirt, Joey Fatone.
God damn it, fat one. That's Joey's Fatone's name. Okay. Real quick, we got about 10 minutes before we toss it to our guest. I wanted to talk about Lanterns. Lanterns came out, premiered this last Sunday. They're mixed-ish reviews. I think more on the positive side. I think some people are unsure of how it's kind of a slow burn, which I'm like, any show, like if you expect fireworks in the first episode, I mean, like you're setting yourself up for disappointment. You gotta build a narrative. You gotta tell a story. You gotta set the stakes. You gotta build intrigue. You build off the first episode. You don't show your whole hand, And I do think that they did a really good job establishing the lore for this universe, establishing who the characters are, very clearly identifying what the archetypes are. You have your stoic, serious, I'm dialed in, the loose cannon who's just gonna say and do whatever he wants, and the town sheriff was just trying to keep it all together, and it's really, really well done, narratively and pacively. I'm not the most well versed in the Green Lantern core history, but I'm good. I'm decent. And it's like I can spot the references and the little things that are like, okay, that's a nod to his origin story. That's a nod to the creators. That's a nod to this kind of storyline and things. And so they are weaving together, and they kind of cherry picked. A little bit from the new 52, a little bit from like the old 50s, a little bit from here and there, and kind of the costumes and kind of the way that they interact. So I'm excited. I'm excited for what's to come. We only saw a little bit of the Power Ring in action. He did a $20 bill. He did a bottle opener, and then he did kind of like a protector bubble kind of thing. So very light on the visual effects for the most part, but I think it's good. I'm excited to see where it builds to in narratively and how it connects to the larger DC universe, because like we start in like 96 and then it jumps ahead to 2016, and then it kind of buttons at 2026, which we know kind of ties into where the DC universe is now with like Superman and Supergirl. So it's interesting to see like how these pieces will fit into the larger narrative, because we know it also ties into like Creature Commandos and all the other stuff that they're doing in the DC universe. And yeah, any intention to catch Lanterns on HBO Max?
I'm gonna have to renew HBO. I kind of let it lapse because last year when DoorDash threw me an offer, hey, if you sign up for the premium thing, not only you save less on all the halal you like the order from around the corner, we'll throw in HBO Max for a year. And then they did their whole sale, and so DoorDash, HBO is like, fuck, we don't need DoorDash anymore. So we're killing
it's like a divorce. You had to pick mom or dad. You're like, I'm gonna go DoorDash over HBO Max. Is that what it is?
Yeah. So, but no, I'd heard of it, and then this weekend at the hotel, every commercial break had the ad for this show, and I was like, well, I already was interested in the show the first time. The 20th time, I'm still pretty interested. Like I want to see what's his name. Aaron Pierre, because I liked him in Rebel Ridge. He was a pretty pretty good actor in that. And then Kyle Chandler, usually he plays like a snarky cop.
kind of playing a snarky cop. I mean,
Is he a cop again?
I mean, well, no, galactic cop, right? I mean,
Oh, okay.
Green Lanterns are basically space police.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's kind of, in his wheelhouse.
And then also in the ad, I saw Garrett Dillahunt, who he's been he's one of those dark horse actors that I think he's been, slaving away in Hollywood, playing some like really good lower key pivotal shows ever since the Sarah Connor Chronicles is when I first notated him, because he was I forgot the name of the Terminator. He was the Terminator in that series. And since then, whenever I see him, whether it's Justified or what was that movie, Looper, whatever, he's like that guy award for me, even though I do know his name. So if I ever get to meet him at a con, I'm just gonna I'll fanboy for him before some other big name.
I like it. Overall, I was very excited or very interested in Green Lantern. I'm excited to see where it kind of goes. There's obviously a lot of speculation. Are we going to see the other colored rings, right? The red lanterns, yellow lanterns. We kind of know through casting and trailers and things, we're going to get a little Sinestro in there. We're going to get a little talk of Manhunters and some others. So,
Guy is supposed to be in it too, right? At some point.
Well, Guy Gardner, who was established in the Superman movie, is going to, and also in Peacemaker and also in a bunch of other places. He is rumored, or not even rumored, I think it was announced he's going to appear in some capacity in the show. I mean, which makes sense, right? Lanterns, he's a Green Lantern. The show takes place in parts in 2026. He's active in 2025, we know. So yeah.
IMDb. Oh, yeah. Nathan Fillion cited for 7 episodes.
Oh, wow. 7?
Yeah.
Holy shit. I thought he was going to do like 1 or 2 and call it a day, but 7 means he's probably going to be in the majority of the show.
Maybe the rookie was on break.
Yes, exactly right. He's filming in between the rookie.
Oh, callback. I did find a Reuters article from 2 weeks ago that said the box office is on pace for its best year since the pandemic, but there are few people going to the movies. I'm citing my inflation thing here. I'm not trying to get political or anything, but theaters sold an estimated 470.9, almost 471 million tickets through the first 30 weeks of 2026, compared to 747 million during the same stretch of 2019. So, which I think was a great statistic given Endgame came out in 2019, since you were wanting to compare those two movies.
Well, but let's not forget, you're right, but you're comparing almost half a year to a full year. So I'm just saying on track, especially we know Avengers Doomsday is coming.
Right.
That alone is going to make up like 30% of the year's box office, maybe even more. So,
but the point I'm trying to say is like the average movie ticket price in 2018 was under $10, and now the average movie ticket price is like 16 and some change.
Yeah.
So
absolutely,
you don't have to sell as many tickets to still get into that record.
Status. No, it's a fair point. I just, fuck you. I'm right and you're wrong. That's all. It's fair. It's fair. Everyone can be having a wrong opinion. It's fine. You can have a wrong opinion and I can be right all the time. It's fine. It's my show. I can do that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to toss it to a short break. And when we come back, we have a very special guest for you. You're not going to want to miss this. Stay tuned. Thank you to K-Mill for being here in the first hour. And all you guys in the chats, Wayne, Scott, Anubis, Angry Elf, I see all you guys. Thanks for hanging out. Don't go yet. You're going to love, especially you guys. I know you. You're going to love what we got coming up. K-Mill, anything to say as we close out the first hour?
Stay golden, pony boy.
Such a nerd. You're such a nerd. All right, guys. We'll be back with more show right after this. Shots.
In the shadows of the city, bright, where heroes rise and take the fight. There's a voice that breaks the night. It's CQ at the insight. From the comics to the silver screens, talking legends in those crazy scenes. Pop culture, trends and hidden themes. CQ reveals what it all means. From the comics to the silver screens, talking legends and those crazy scenes. Pop culture, trends and hidden themes. CQ reveals what it all means. Pop culture warrior here to ignite, guiding through the tales of light. With CQ leading the charge so bright, we're ready for another flight. Pop culture warrior here to ignite, guiding through the tales of light. With CQ leading the charge so bright, we're ready for another flight. Marvel at the twists and turns, villains playing heroes learn. Every episode we'll discern lessons from the past to learn. Games we play and books we read, CQ's list of what we need. Memories that make us bleed, together we will take the lead. Pop culture warrior here to ignite, guiding through the tales of light. With CQ leading the charge so bright, we're ready for another fight. Pop culture warrior here to ignite, guiding through the tales of light. With CQ leading the charge so bright, we're ready for another flight. Pop culture warrior here to ignite, guiding through the tales of light. With CQ leading the charge so bright, we're ready for another flight. Pop culture warrior here to ignite, guiding through the tales of light. With CQ leading the charge so bright, we're ready for another flight.
Hi there. You're watching Pop Culture Warrior. This is the way.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to Pop Culture Warrior here on WTF Nation Radio. Oh boy, howdy, am I super fucking excited. I don't got time to waste. We're going to dive right into this. So, tonight on Pop Culture Warrior, we're talking about one of the biggest celebrations of fandom in the country, Dragon Con. But this conversation is about a lot more than just convention schedules and celebrity guests. Dragon Con is a place where science fiction, fantasy, comics, gaming, cosplay, podcasting, and digital media all collide under one and many other roofs. It's also a place built around community, creativity, and the people who make fandom feel alive. And oh goodness, I'm excited because joining me to talk all about it, he is a longtime podcaster, producer, live host, moderator, digital media leader. You name it, he's done it. He serves as director and digital media track director for Dragon Con, which is celebrating its 40th show anniversary this Labor Day weekend in Atlanta. We're going to talk about all about the evolution of podcasting, its importance, the importance of creator communities, what goes on behind the scenes at conventions of this size, and what fans can expect from Dragon Con 40. ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, a legend in the making. I want to introduce my guest tonight. Please welcome to the show the rock god of podcasting himself, Mr. Charles McFall, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. You can keep
My
it up.
God.
It's good.
Yeah.
I like being worshipped. It's all good. It's fine. We got it.
We're not worthy. We're not worthy. Man, Charles, thank you so much for taking the time today to do this. I'm so excited. And this really, for you, a lot of the people at home know this. Myself and the team, we've been covering conventions for years. We've done New York Comic Con, we've done San Diego Comic Con, Awesome Con, and Fan Expo, and you name it, we've done it. Dragon Con is one of the ones I have yet to go to. And it's something that's been on my list because anyone is like, you know who's gone to Dragon Con? Because they will tell you they've gone to Dragon Con.
Yeah.
Okay. It is something that they will literally wear on their sleeve. They love it. There's such a, it was intimidating. As a guy who does conventions professionally, I'm like, there's no way it could live up to the hype these people talk about. So we are going this year. We are super excited. So when I had the opportunity to bring you on and talk all about it, I could not pass it up. But before we dive into Dragon Con, I'd like to know a little bit more about you. Let's talk a bit about you.
All right.
And you started podcasting back when the medium was still very young. So what? We lost him. God damn it. Wait, come back. Charles, don't you do this to me. Oh, man. I bet you. Wait, come back. Come back, Charles. It's all right. Give him a second. Give him a second. I was just getting in. There he is. Come.
Pros was you and you saluted it. It's done. I'm like, do I hold the pose too? I'm like,
me? No. Okay. No. You have been podcasting since it was in its infancy.
Mm-hmm.
What pulled you into podcasting in the first place? How did you find yourself there?
It's you're born for something, right? And when you find that thing, it just you can't explain it at the time. And I always had a message. I grew up a preacher's kid, always in front of people, so I always got used to what the show is versus what real life is and those kind of things. And always had a story to tell. I just was that guy wanted to talk about everything with everybody. And the only way I could do it at the time was to either start a band and write music, which is okay. I did that. And wasn't the greatest, Metallica didn't sign me or anything. So or is it go be in radio, real radio at the time, terrestrial. And that meant starting as an intern, getting paid next to nothing and crazy hours. And I didn't have that in me either. And I was listening to a local radio station and I missed my drive time morning shows. And so I went to their website and it said, hey, get the podcast. Like, what's a podcast? And it really wasn't. It was just MP3s of the worst segments of their show, the worst 5 minutes of their show, letting you download. And like, oh, so I Googled podcasts and went to the first site I ever found, which is called Podcast Pickle. And that was one of the first aggregators. And I just started picking some shows and listening. And after that, I was like, oh, I'm in. And because the ones I happened to land on did the work to sound good and present themselves well. And so I wrote into a show and they read my email. And then that was it. I was a paramedic at the time. I was working at this fire station. There's a slower area. And so I had my soundboard from when I was in a band. I had all these microphones. I'd lock myself in this little bunk room with a twin bed and a little nightstand and just be cutting things from Family Guy to make jokes with and make segments. And that was it for me. And that's how I got into it.
That's awesome. And I'm curious because what did those early years kind of teach you about building an audience before podcasting was even this massive industry that it is today? What'd you learn from that early time?
The same thing I'm still working on today, which is you can't care what anybody else thinks, because I wrote into a show and I thought they sounded professional. They sounded great. I thought they had been doing this forever. And then next thing I know, they're reading my email. Turns out I was the second person to ever write into them, but I didn't know that. I thought it was in it. And so it was, everybody downplayed themselves way too much. And I said, no, I'm going the other direction. Hence the rock out of podcasting. we were doing man, this is when you still had like DSL and iPods were brand new, and so to put the podcast on the iPod, you put it on your nightstand overnight and the computer would download it and put it in. And so everybody was like crunching their sound down to AM radio level and to get the file small. I was like, nah, dog, I got to sound good. I know I look good, but you can't see me, but I got to sound good. And so I did just the full stereo, high level, high def audio. And people are like, it takes like an hour to download. I'm like, listen or don't, man. Then they're like, well, you got to do little 10-minute drives. I did a 3-hour talk show nonstop because my dumb ass here was like, oh, they do 3-hour talk shows on radio. No, they do 10-minute segments, 5-minute segments over 3 hours of radio.
Mm-hmm.
But I did, yeah. And everybody's like, you'll never get listeners, but I did. You know, people came, and if they want to be a part of your community, they will be. And I had my most success thinking nobody was listening. Once I realized people were listening, I started stumbling over myself and getting in my own way. And yeah, you gotta just do what you do.
Yeah, I love. It's like when I started that's when it all went downhill for me. It all went down.
Now, when I got nominated for a podcast award, I lost my way, and to a point, I did. You know, I had two good things happen out of one show. One was I didn't trust myself, so I was putting out on Facebook, early stages of Facebook and MySpace for that matter. Hey, what do y'all want to hear tonight? And one of my fans wrote in, it's like, stop asking that question. We want to hear what you got to say. We like your humor. We like what you're bringing to the table. Just stop asking that question. So that was the bad thing. Well, it was good for me, but it was bad to go, oh, okay, hear it. Then the other one was we did this real world meetup towards the end of that. It was called the Bear Crawling Nation. And towards the end of that run, we did a real world meetup. I'm like, nobody's going to come. Because yes, I have listeners, but they're all over the world and all this other stuff. And yeah, a handful did come. And one of them said, you know, the best compliment I ever got was, they were shocked because they followed all kind of celebrities and all kind of different things. And that's how they kind of viewed this interaction, even though I definitely didn't view it that way at the time. Now I'd be like, you're blessed to be with me. But no, but they said, what you see is what you get. And I wasn't just putting on a personality for the show. It's just, I took my personality and turned it up to full volume on the show. I'm like, thanks. That's exactly what I'm shooting for. So yeah.
That I 100 man, we are, you know, I don't know why I'm doing this, but we're there.
We're touching your fingertips.
That's just a weird way to do it. Yes, we're anyway. Sorry, military humor. No, you're absolutely right. We do another show called FTX where we get veterans together to play board games and card games and D&D and all these different things.
Yeah.
And one thing we always joked about is like, oh, we should do this in public. But I was like, and me being me, I'm like, nobody's gonna come. And you had guys that were writing in there like, I'm 8 hours away, I can make it. Yeah. And I'm like, are you fucking high? Why would you want to hang out with us? like drive 8 hours to meet me? That's a terrible idea.
I think it was 2008. I hit my 100th episode, and so I threw a party. And people took their vacation time to fly from the other side of the United States to come to this party. I had a house full of people I'd never met before. It's like 50 people or something. I'm like, just because I hit 100 episodes and they wanted to come hang out and be a part of that celebration. It's crazy, right? It's just crazy.
It's amazing. It's amazing. But no one knows better than you do, like the feeling you get. That you spent years working in EMS and then building up the podcasting and live production, event leadership. Those things don't necessarily sound like they should. Like they're such different worlds. So how? Why? What's the through line for you? What do those things have in common that you found yourself doing them all?
I couldn't have told you years ago. I could have just told you when I was 12, I had this vision, this dream, this idea of my future that just locked in that says, I'm going to be on a stage in a huge coliseum, sold out, thousands of people. And just, they're there for me. And that's the image I had. And I thought that was going to be, music and stuff. Right. And so I started working that creativity. But the honest through line, to keep this more to the point, so we'll talk about a million things tonight, I'm sure, and I'm here for it, is at some point in my life, I realized I'm here to help others be awesome. And you can't help others be awesome if you're not awesome. And communication. And so as I was at college for the 1 year, I went to an official campus college school. I was part of the public safety team, and then saw an ambulance and went, "Oh, that's really neat." And the guy's like, "Yeah, it's really easy. You take the short class, and then there's always a job there. You can work at weekends, you work nights. There will always be a demand for EMTs, and there will be." So I came back home, didn't know what I want to do. Went to EMT school. Here I am next year. Will be 30 years in the field, and I'm not super active now. I consult, but I still do the stuff. But as I went through it, looking back, I'm like, all I ever did was put on a show for the patient. If they're anxious, right? I'm calming them down, I'm distracting them, I'm talking to them. The other day, I actually had to jump on a truck, and we had a new patient, and the young EMTs had complained that, man, he's really grumpy, questions everything. I think it's gonna be a problem. And just through circumstances today, I had to get on the truck with that young guy, and we went and got this one. I was like, afterwards, I'm like, dude, you just gotta talk old head. He's like, what are you talking about? I was like, oh, I'm sorry, you gotta talk unk. You gotta talk unk to him. And all I did was like, hey man, he was saying some dark things. Like, he's angry and he's tired. And it's a regular transport. So it's something he has to depend on other people for 3 days a week. And he was just like, man, just shoot me. Just shoot me. And I just went, I don't know, man. I left my gun at home because they won't let me have it on the truck. So I can't help you with that. And he just kind of looked up at me, and he kind of laughed a little bit, and he was a little bit more grumpy, and I just ignored it. And then I just talked to him about, hey man, what do you look forward to in life? And he started telling me about how he's a fisherman. By the time we got at home, he was telling his niece, like, tell him I'm a great fisherman. Oh, there's 3. That's it. So the communication was always there. The show was always there. And that just, in everything I've done, I got into live show production, like music and that kind of thing, because of all the podcast stuff, but also because I'd been in a band before, and it just kind of snowballed, always trying to get to that vision. And I just took the jobs that made sense, that paid me and gave me freedom. And I mean, there's just so many stories of every step I took. I thought I took it for one reason, but it was building my future every single time that I did.
Yes, I love it. And you self-describe as a storyteller. So from one storyteller to another, what makes a story worth telling, whether it happens to be on a podcast or at a convention or just in everyday life?
Man, I was looking for a way to hit you with a one-word answer just to shut that down. But you did. You asked a really good question. You made it impossible just to say yes or no on that. It's if you love it, right? It's your story to tell. That was the only thing that I never talked about on the air. When I first started, I asked my wife, what rules would you have? It's like, oh, don't talk about our sex life. Like, okay, sure. I mean, that's not what I do anyway. It's not who I am, but okay, I can do that. And then the first time she gets it on the show, she started talking about her sex. Like, what are you doing? She's like, oh, that's your rule, not my rule. But the real rule for me it's not my story to tell. I can tell my interactions with things. I can tell other things, but there just comes a point in the story that says that's not mine. And that's 10, 8, 5% of the stories that we live. So it's what gets you excited. Gary Vaynerchuk, I've been quoting him a lot this season.
Gary V. Yeah.
Gary V. Okay. All right. Cool story. You might appreciate this. Early days of podcasting. He was doing is that in the back of the wine shop. I forget what he called his a really long name for YouTube. But he was doing that fresh, and he had just put out Crush It. So, of course, in the days of LimeWire and everything else, somebody gave me a PDF copy of the book to read, and I did. Or no, his audiobook. I got a pirated copy of his audiobook, which he reads himself. I highly recommend it. It's amazing because he just stops in mid-sentence like, okay, look, it adds to it. But I reached out to him, and I ended up being within about an hour of him, and we just didn't quite work out. I was going to go meet him because I thought it'd be cool to meet. And then, of course, now he's the greatest thing to social media in the world, I think. But he says in that book, I paraphrase, but basically the thing that keeps you up at night that just lights you up. And I always add, you've been working all day, you're exhausted, you're empty, you're drained, you're ready to go to bed or just check out the world. And somebody goes, hey, what about, and they fill in that blank, and all of a sudden now here you are at midnight, 1 a.m., just lighting it up and talking about that. That's why you do what you do. So there's always stories out of that. I do a show called Finding the Stories. It's a limited series that I'm working on. I actually do have about 5 episodes in season 2 recorded right now. But I love grabbing people who I have no story to tell, and you just start getting them talking, and they tell it. So it's a story that makes you feel something. For me in the early days, it was the dark pain and the trauma and everything else. Now it's more the successes in life and where I want to be. But that's what I think. That's what makes a story worth telling.
That is the longest one-word answer I've ever heard. But no, it was perfect. It was so good, and it's so true. I talk about, I launched this show, Pop Culture Warrior. I mean, I shit you not, it was February 2020, a month before COVID hits. And as I'm pitching it to the station, I'm like, yeah, I want to do a weekly talk show where I talk about all the things in pop culture, and I interview, interesting people. I don't care if it's the A-list actor or the fucking craft services person, but they have stories. They've seen shit, and they'll talk about shit. And they're like, man, you could do this every week. I go, no, you don't understand. I could do this every day.
Every day.
I could do it every day. And then I shit you not, the next month COVID shuts down everything. There's no movies to talk about, no comics coming out. And I'm like, I got this. Yep. And I did 2 years with nothing new coming out. And I talked for 2 years before anything new came out. And I love it. And I'm still doing it today. So yes, you are fucking spot on. 100% right. Great answer.
Before you jump, my favorite Dragon Con year was the year of the strike, because nobody could talk about their projects. And so you got Patrick Stewart giving gardening tips. You got, I just lost your name. Starbuck in the newest Battlestar Galactica. Yep. Mandalorian.
Yes.
Katie Sackhoff.
Katie Sackhoff.
You got her sharing bread recipes, like she's making her own sourdough starters and the crowd's eating it up. That was the coolest Dragon Con, because you couldn't talk about your work. So we got to actually get more of your life that you were passionate about. It was so cool.
That I 100%. When I interview people, a lot of times I'll start with, before we get into any of the work, like, what do you geek out about? Like, what's like just you every day? What do you love? Let's talk about that.
Yes.
And it's always a great way to start, because it gets people talking about their passions. It lights them up, and now they're ready to go. It's the foreplay to a good conversation. It gets everything greased up, ready to go. We got to switch gears a little bit to Dragon Con, because it's such a huge thing. It has become known for bringing together so many different communities. What do you think makes Dragon Con different from the other many conventions that might be broad? Let's call out like a San Diego Comic-Con where it covers everything, or some of the conventions that are super niche, like an MGS Con where it's only Metal Gear. What makes Dragon Con different?
It's we believe in the magic of what you love. You were just talking about how you ask, what are you passionate about? That's the question we try to answer every single day, and not just for the fans, which it is 100% fan first. Everything is built for the fan experience. Everything is about making that connection of magic together. But everybody runs it from the top down. They are the biggest fans. When they're sitting in the early directors meetings and they get to announce, like this year we have Nathan Fillion. Like, the second we had him, they were giggling. They were so excited because they're so nerdy about Nathan Fillion that they're excited he's coming. So it's the heart of the whole thing. And then our whole goal is to make it that experience for the celebrities as well. So they get to do cool things with other creators, and they just get the nerd out. So everything is a magic of what you love.
I got goosebumps. And as I've been learning more, because I don't like to walk in empty-handed, I'm learning more about Dragon Con and what that experience is. I found this interesting thing called tracks. And I'll hope you can break that down, because me as a convention pro, I was like, what is this? As I'm digging into it, and like, we can talk a little bit about the digital media track, and so paint a picture for the folks at home.
So my experience with cons was backwards. I went to Dragon Con, then I started finding other cons. So I'm like, I get other ones like, where's the room that I can talk to other people about my anime or my I don't understand. What do you mean there's no rooms for that? So that's what tracks are. Everything that can have a fandom is represented at Dragon Con to the best of our abilities. Sometimes it's wrapped into other tracks and flows through, but like this Brit track, so it's all British pop and TV culture media, pop culture media. We've got Star Trek track, we've got Star Wars track, paranormal, you name it, crafting. We have robotics and makers track. It's so the tracks there are many conventions inside of a larger convention. Every track has to do 36 hours of programming starting Thursday night. You have to do at least 1 or 2 shows. And then from Friday morning at 10 a.m. to I think 6:37 is what they require us to do. It goes Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then Monday is about a half day because it's, everybody's wrapping up, that kind of thing. You get that world. So if you want to learn how to make costumes, you want to learn how to do fantasy literature or meet your favorite authors, we have a track for that. That can be your whole time is you're just in that room. And that's what digital media is one, I tricked them. I got them to name me digital media. What's called the podcast track. And we got it. We call it digital media track. And I was like, oh, I got you. Like, what do you mean? Everything in this world is digital media. Doctor Who's Brit Track. No, ma'am, that is on Disney Plus. Doctor Who is mine. Everything is digital media. So, but for the most part, we get what we get. We get to play with all of it. So a couple years ago, I got to help Anson Mount host his podcast live on stage. The Well is the one he hosts. He's also the captain of the Enterprise in his show, the one that precursored all of them. So
no,
it's the one after Discovery is spun off. Anyway, he's Pike. He's Captain Pike. So everybody gets to touch on everything, but the digital media track, for me, it is about that online experience in the real world, minus the trolls and the hate. Right? You get to come learn some new things about audio, video, lighting. You get to see your favorite creators. This year we've got Uploads of Fun and Thomas Sanders as our guest this year, and it's gonna Thomas Sanders I'm very excited about him coming this year. You get to see the game shows and your favorite creators who do the things, doing different things. Sometimes we have a new panel this year that I helped create with this guy that he liked to do what's called Bard Talk, which is all the Shakespeare stuff, but it's also improv comedy. And he did really well at that. So I said, dude, I've had this idea for years for a podcast. Can't figure out how to make it a podcast, but we can make it a panel. And with his help, we turned it into a Shakespearean one. It's Bards Against Humanity, where it's very much like the Cards Against Humanity, but there are Shakespearean thing, and it's all improv actors, and it's funny. So
that's awesome.
It's the tracks are where you get to find your people. In that, because we really will it down to that niche audience. So if there's something on my track that you don't necessarily care about, but all of a sudden there's something on track or animation track or wherever crafting, Lego. We have a kids track that has a whole Lego thing going on.
Yeah,
dude, we've got fort building for younger kids that takes up an hour in a ballroom. We've got fort building for advanced learners, which is the high school kids that takes up an hour in a ballroom. You got everything on these tracks that you want.
Yeah, I perused. I mean, I saw wrestling. I saw one that I saw that I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna do that. Is the like the Hollywood sword fighting. So like the stunt choreography of it all. I'm like, I could fuck some up with some swords. I could do it. I could pull out my lightsaber and start whizzing away. No, it's such a cool thing, and it's so different. Again, years I've been doing, even before I had a show, I was doing conventions, and you'd see the panels and there's little activities and the little things. This is totally different. As I'm like reading into it and learning about it, I'm like, wow, this is totally different. So in your words, who is the track really for? Is it primarily something that's for experienced creators, or can someone who in like the digital media, can someone who's never done a podcast or a YouTube channel, can they walk in and find value there?
It's yes across the board. It is. We've had people come and go, I was kind of thinking I just want to know more about what's going on online or YouTube, or I was thinking about maybe starting a show, and they'll come, and we've inspired so many people to start their shows and get in there. And we're a very supportive group. We have an open and free Discord for the digital media track. That's creators are in there all year round, helping each other. But then yes, to the high-end professional, every year that we have somebody who seems to be doing it for a long time, we go, oh, I just learned something from this. It is what creativity should be. Know we try to avoid. I can't say no looking down on people, because somebody, as soon as you say never is happening, somebody's going to do it. But it's we remove all the barriers we can. We try to build this welcoming equality to it. And I will tell you, and to the point that we even have a panel called Imposter Syndrome. We don't belong here. And everybody who sits on that table has imposter syndrome and don't believe they should sit at the table. And it fills a room every year with people talking about it and asking questions. But nobody, except for me, apparently, nobody believes they should be behind the table. And then it just breaks down and we just share knowledge. And it's almost that my whole heart behind that track is to do what we're talking about. You ask that person, hey, what is it you love? And then you get them talking and you make a space and you make it where they learn something as they're going, and you make them look good and feel good, both on the audience side and the table side. That's what the show is to me. And it's all about that experience.
Yeah. And what do you think creators are looking for when they come to a convention today that maybe they weren't necessarily looking for 10 or 15 years ago?
I think most creators come to DragonCon as a whole looking for connection, looking for their next inspiration as well. So many people have made lifelong friends there. So many people that's how most people become volunteers. Most of the paths of the directors started with, I started coming here and I got into this and I got into that, I volunteer. And everybody who does it loves it. And I think most people, even if you're like, oh, I'm just here because Nathan Fillion is here this year, that's cool. But you will absolutely find something that makes you happy. It brings you joy. And I think that's what most people are looking for, especially in today's world.
Yeah, absolutely. And something that I noticed, and this is why I love being able to talk to you, because it's not really something I can talk to with, let's say, actors or even directors or whoever, comedians. There's a huge difference between simply producing content and building a community. And I don't think that's something that a lot of people outside of what we do that understand that. So what do you think creators often misunderstand about that distinction?
All I heard was you said I wasn't funny because you don't talk to comedians, but okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm thinking about it. Because I was preparing for how you do that. What do they? So I think people, they miss boundaries. Most creators, the term I believe is parasocial connections there. Yes, people who hear you talk feel connected to you. As part of the what makes you a good creator is you can talk into a microphone, a camera, or whatever it is, and they feel like you're in the room with you. Some creators share parts of their lives, but I have heard so many stories from so many creators like, man, I owe my audience. If I don't get on and be funny today, if I don't get up and do this thing today, if I don't, then I, but I'm burned out. I'm tired. I'm like, you're burned out because you've emotionally and mentally giving yourself away without even realizing it sometimes. And man, just I've always been clear. I will tell you about my life. You're welcome, especially in public. I'd love for you, if you recognize me, come up, say something, take a picture, whatever, all that jazz. But I've been very clear that I'm not good with randos at home. And you show up on my doorstep, I've been told I have rest and kill you face. Like if I'm just concentrating on something. So imagine if I come to the door with my full 6'7" height going, what are you doing here? That's not interaction we desire. Right. So you have to make boundaries with your people. You have to be honest with yourself, saying this works for me and this doesn't. I've had so many Discord communities built around so many different projects I've done. And the running joke becomes, Charles doesn't check Discord. I'm like, no, I built this for you guys. And I'll come in and I'll try to connect with you. But it's much like running the track at DragonCon. If I'm not on the panel, I may or may not pass through the room and say hi to you because I'm doing a million other things. That's what I think creators forget. It's like, you don't have to be in that community every day. You wouldn't do that for your kid. Right? You don't spend every waking moment of your life with your kid, your wife, your husband, boyfriend, girl, whatever it is in this world. You got to have time for yourself. And while I do believe, for me personally, a lot more of my life can be content, not everything is content. And you do have to just have moments that you share that are just for you, because that's what helps recharge the well.
Yeah. So I'm going to flip that on you now, because my next question is this: how important is it for creators to get out from behind the screen and actually meet and interact with the people that listen, support, and watch, etc.?
It is important to the point that you can handle it. I do too. I do believe most of community is feeling like anytime somebody's listened to one of my shows and then come up to me in public, they approach this feeling of, hey, you recognize me. Because step number one for me is, even when you're on the camera and microphone, recognizing the names, like you did at going into the break, recognize the names of people who are here, calling out the people who are chatting, connecting with them when they show up week to week. I start, hey, there's so-and-so, hey, there's so, that's part of that connection there. So when they've come up in real life and go, I really don't remember the guy's real name. He's like, hey, I'm Bobby Smith. I'm like, and I can tell he came up like an old friend. Like, he had that vibe of like, we kind of know each other. I'm like, he goes, oh, Rad Dog 37. I'm like, oh, why didn't you lead with that? I know who Rad Dog 37 is. I don't know who Bobby Smith is.
Right.
But that's part of that connection. And then being clear about your needs, your audience will understand that. So if it's something like doing Dragon Con, I love having fresh names, fresh faces, fresh people trying things. And sometimes it doesn't always work out, but we always try to give it a shot. And we have people who will, I think what I'm trying to say is if you're trying to come out from behind the camera, find a con that you can go get a fan table at. A lot of times those are free. They're not always, but they're very low cost, because you can't sell anything, but you're there to say, hey, this is who I am. This is my show. And people they will make more of an impact seeing you face to face and talking to you, learning about your show, or going, oh, I listen to that. I love hearing you every week, because you need that too. You need that energy fed back to you to hear somebody say, what you said influenced my life. It affected my life. It inspired me. Or, I just love what you do. Thank you. It will help you see the world differently. And then you can take it anywhere from there. I'll always go get on any stage, anywhere, come do whatever I can to bring my brand out to the world. But that's who I am. If you're way more comfortable talking behind a microphone, you still have to have some availability, or just understand you're limiting, and be honest about that. I'm not good with meeting people in real life, and you'll build a community around that too. You'll literally build a community who will never want to meet you, because they identify with that feeling.
Yes. Yeah. It's the most awkward panel is everyone is backed up against the wall and nobody wants to look at each other. the panel for people that don't like to be around other people. No,
that was such a good skit too. We can do that.
We can definitely. Now DragonCon gives creators the chance to participate in front of a live audience.
Mm-hmm.
What does a live convention audience teach a creator that kind of this online, the analytics of it all, it can never recreate?
That the numbers will never tell you you're doing good. They just won't. Good friend of mine, Josh Cooper, Uploads of Fun. We do a show called Little Brown Pill together. It's coffee's Viagra for your soul. And he has, I think, 13.5 million fans across the platforms, whatnot. And he's used to seeing good, big numbers. He and I will talk numbers on our show. We'll talk that creator process on the Little Brown Pill. And just last night we were recording, and he was, as a creator, as a human, he was upset that he had done this new 3-camera shoot, and it looked all beautiful, and he'd used AI to make the thumbnail. That's it, just a thumbnail. And somebody called him out for using AI on the thumbnail. And I was like, dude, you have 1,000 people who love it. And that's what being in a live room helps with, is you get past the numbers, you get past that imaginary rut of what the algorithm is, and go, I kid you not. And I want to say, I kid you not. I'm going to say this. You're going to go, of course that'll fill a room. But I did not believe it. When Pokemon Go launched, I had bought the rights to Pokemon Go podcast with Brian Ibbett, and him and I and Joe Ard started the show. And so as we got towards Dragon Con, and I was the director, I'm like, I really want to promote this show. This game is really big this year, but I don't think anybody's going to come. And so we put Pokemon Go podcast on the roster in like the middle of an afternoon on a Saturday or Sunday or something. And as we woke up, there's a line backed up to get in. I'm like, what are y'all? Because I know my download numbers. I know my interactions online. None of y'all listen to the show. What are you talking? Because they wanted to hear the game. They wanted to interact about the game. They wanted to share their own experiences. And there's a lot of takeaway stories from that first year. But there was this 10-year-old kid that was heard basically for the first time. Like he was sitting there sharing some. You could tell the way he was just kind of vomiting the energy that he doesn't get to nerd out about this with his friends. And here he is nerding out, not just with a room full of friends of all ages, with two guys that he thinks are cool, and then they're validating his feelings. And that's, you cannot get that. You can have 1 million downloads and you won't get that same interaction unless you go out in the real world.
I to the converse, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. But if you have a room full of people who are happy to see you, who's gonna yell obscenities and troll you from the like, you have to have someone stationed in every room that's just gonna be like, you're gay, like just randomly, like some stupid childish thing, because
you haven't been to any of my panels. Because I never intended this, but somehow I've cultivated a group of people who work with me. Some of them volunteers in the con, some of them are friends of the track, some of them I've been on the shows, whatever. But they will never fails. I'll be in the middle of something, a serious panel, and somebody will yell out something about me. And it's funny. It always kills. I'm like, I can't get away from being punched anywhere that I go. Yeah. But I like it. It's fine. It's fine.
Right here, buddy. Right here. My audience will be the first one to call me out on just about everything. I won't read some of the comments that are happening right now. All in good fun. All in good fun. What advice would you give somebody who's attending Dragon Con who wants to make meaningful connections without treating every conversation like it's a business transaction?
Oh, because it's not. You got to let it go. Let it go and let it flow. At Dragon Con, just talk to the stranger that looks interesting. And by that I mean usually cosplay is where that starts. And you might go, oh, you've got an amazing Scarlet Witch. Can I take a picture of it? Or how did you make this? Or just giving compliments to people. It works. Sitting in a room of people, most of the tracks, now the main ballrooms, right? Main programming, we're talking about 2,000, 3,000 people, and you're seeing the Eddie McClintocks and the Katie Sackhoffs. No, you can't approach the stage after and talk to them. They're going to leave before you get there. But most of the tracks are in smaller rooms, and the creators there typically are happy that you come up to the table and say something. And maybe the person next to you, that kind of thing is, if you're in the room together, you can have those conversations, and you never know where the conversations are going to go. You just know that you had a moment that you got to be you and enjoy whatever it is you were enjoying. And the person next to you was too. And they may lean over and go, "Man, that's a great notebook you have." I've had the weirdest compliments it's great. I've had the weirdest compliments over a conversation just because we were all in the same room together. And somebody like, "I like your jersey, man." I'm like, okay, cool. And because when you compliment, they feel like they can compliment back and you can talk. And it's not like any other con. And if you're going from the creator level, one, at the digital media track, we have a creators table where you're welcome to bring stickers, business cards, whatever it is you promote, and put it out. It's free to take, right? It's not, we don't sell anything in that room, but you put it on the table for people to take. And it always starts out with one or two early birds really getting in and wanting to get their stuff on the table, to by Sunday night. Well, by Sunday morning, it's full of stuff. I don't even know these people. And here's some really, I will take a little of that myself and check it out. And, you can give away stuff from the panel tables on our track at the end, like, hey, come up and get a free sticker or come talk to me. Those are the kind of connections you can make. And there are two things I think that can get you out of your comfort zone. Because I kind of feel like the people I'm thinking of, they come, they want to make a connection, but it's harder. there's usually questions during every panel, so you can step up, get on a microphone, and say, "Hey, you know, you don't have to identify yourself." Now, we highly encourage it in the digital media track, especially if you have a show. I'd expect you to say, "Hey, this is pop culture, warfare." I don't know. I'm drunk, man. I can't do it. No, I'm not drunk. I'm sorry. My brand though is I mess up. If you don't already know, I mess up names and I just roll and just because I'm gone about it. I work so hard to go. Your name is Brian. Your name is Brian. Your name is Brian. Hey, Brad. So I just gave up a long time ago when I was 20.
I understand.
So, but
we're here.
I always go, "Hey, I'm Charles McFall, and hey, I host a Little Brown Pill, and here's my question." Or sometimes like, "Hey, thank you for sharing this information," or so on and so forth. And if that's not your thing, right? Or maybe sometimes the line gets too long, we run out of time. Just walking up to that person at the table and saying, "Thank you for saying XYZ," because you can almost always find something you took out of it that can start a conversation of just two people talking, and you may end up making connection and wanting to do more. You may not, but it shouldn't matter. It's not like the podcast conferences I've gone to before where it's all business cards. Is Dragon Con's never a business card. It's, "Hey, what do you love here?" I mean, it's almost always, "What do you love and why are you in this room? What do you think about that?" And then it just goes from there.
Yeah, I love that. Speaking of that, Susan in the comments said that she loves the call out for Scarlet Witch. She feels seen. So throw in some love for Scarlet Witch. The Dragon Con is celebrating its 40th show this year. How, since you're on the inside, right, and helping organize all this,
I'm on the outside.
how do you honor the history of an event like Dragon Con while still making sure that it continues to evolve?
I'm glad I'm not responsible for that at this point. There's many people above me because that's a very hard one. It is, by that's okay. Breaking it back down to the tracks. What Manny and Rachel and Pat and Sherry and the people before, Pat and Sherry are the two of the founders of the con. They're also the parents of Rachel and Mandy. Rachel and Mandy this year became co-chairs of Dragon Con, and they grew up in all this, right? So they've come through all the different things that I've never seen. Because all I see with Dragon Con is love, and people love Dragon Con. When you're on the inside, right? You're the inception 6 levels deep on the inside. I'm sure there's hate, there's problems, there's issues, but they've always kept up with what is ever changing and how to keep it positive and how to serve the fans. There have been many a track that we've had that for a time it worked. Stargate had its own track for a while, but at the 10th anniversary of the 10 years, so it's been 10 years off the air. So they did 10 years, then they toured 10 years on the, "Hey, we used to be on air." At that 10th year, the crew themselves, the cast themselves said, "Hey, we want to take a break for a while. It's been 10 years, we're good." But Dragon Con used that as a pivot year to have that change from Stargate to sci-fi military. So now it's Battlestar Galactica. And so they find ways to connect and pivot and bring in more fandoms and that kind of thing. With my track specifically, it was a podcasting track, and they kind of understood it and they kind of didn't, but they get the directors. I almost said hire, but we're really volunteers. We're not hired. We don't work a job for them. All the directors of the tracks are experts in their field ultimately because they're just that passionate. They're passionate enough to say, "I want to do this." And that's what they rely on. So, when I started doing the podcast, I was like, "Hey, here's why I want to do digital media." Boom, there it is. And they backed me up. And then every time I try to stretch, sometimes I had to explain what I was doing because that wasn't their world, but they opened up to it, to the point that now over the last 2 years, I think it is, for official press, they started letting in influencers, but and they do it safely. You start with a really vetted small group and make it clear of what you're trying to look for and let them do their thing. And their Dragon Con is really great about letting all of us do our thing. And if we get, it's almost like the operation game, you get too close to the side, you touch the side, bing, and it's not a painful thing. We don't get shocked in that game. So it's not like they come down with the wrath of the dragon on us, but it is very much, "Hey, let's bump back in. This is, we need to show you a little bit more of our picture as you're showing us your picture." And I think that's how they've been able to evolve. I mean, 40 years, it's changed so much in the pop fandom culture world and wrestling. I would never have thought us. I kind of think of Dragon Con as like a sci-fi pop culture
Right.
con, but it's not. There's wrestling. There's so many. There's teapot racing, and that's not like people making little teapot go-karts. No, this is literally carrying teapots on plates. But it's just you just keep finding what people like, and as things fade, you don't get rid of it. You roll it into the next thing that keeps the nostalgia, including we have classic media track, which is everything over either 20, 25, or 30. I forget the exact mark, but it's somewhere between that 20 and 30 year range. So they just are constantly getting new content because it ages into them. So
Right.
I mean, how do we evolve as humans? I mean, just because I grew up doesn't mean I don't still like to go watch the old G.I. Joes every once in a while.
I love it. I love it. And when people hear Dragon Con, right? They think they may think, costumes. They may think the parade, the celebrity guests, the parties. What is something important about the convention that the casual observer might not understand?
It is okay. So it's 2 or 3 things. One is definitely you don't know what you're missing out when you don't go to those little rooms. When I first went to Dragon Con, I thought everything was celebrity based because I'd gone to a few of those panels. And so I went down, I was like, oh, I went to the Stargate track room and I was like, oh, Stargate, I love Stargate. And the people on the panel were more or less reviewers of the show. I think there was one that was a regular extra on the show, 1 or 2. But it wasn't like the big names, right? Like, oh, this is different. This is a different take. I really stepped in there because I wanted to charge my cell phone. But I was like, oh, and I got something different out of it. And so if you don't go find those little rooms, you'll miss out. The photo shoots, just walking past, there's so many all the hotels have great photo opportunity areas, as in they'll gather up all the Wonder Women that want to be in this photo. Gather in my hotel's the Hilton is where I stay at most of the time, so it's out on the Hilton patio, and they have these set of stairs that a lot of people use. So you'll get all the Captain Americas and do a photo shoot. You'll get all the thises or that's, and just walking past just to see what they're shooting right now is amazing. The second thing you'll miss if you just look up at all the big crazy that goes on, there's a lot of awesome crazy that goes on, is just sitting down in a corner. When you just sit down anywhere and just people watch, the levels of cosplay versus non-cosplay versus the conversations that you'll overhear as people go by, just those blips of humanity are amazing if you don't just stop for a minute and sit and just clear your mind and look around. And I guess, I was thinking walking through the different hotels to see what's going on. The Marriott has a Walk of Fame, which is great. And they have a bunch of different musicians and creators booths. Then they have some other things going on. Walking around, finding new things is something that's easily overlooked if you don't slow down at Dragon Con.
I love it. And as someone involved in the digital media side of things, what are you most excited for specifically this year at Dragon Con?
Being that it's the 40th, we have Thomas Sanders. If you're not familiar, he started out in Vine. Vine came out, I don't remember if it's pre-YouTube or about the same time as YouTube, but Vine was 6 seconds. That's what you could do. I never could wrap my mind around how do I make this. It lit me up. I was already podcasting at the time. I was like, ooh, how do I couldn't do the 6 seconds. But Thomas Sanders was one of the few that really mastered it and made a name for himself. If you watched it back then or go look it up, his was story time. And he would jump in and like just walking up on people. And sometimes it was skits, of course, and made up, but story time. The old man was sitting next to the princess and he saved her. And the guy's like, I mean, and random people are doing fun things. And he just made a huge name for himself. And he's kept creating throughout all the years. I started podcasting in 2004 and kept creating throughout all these years. Josh Cooper uploads the fun. He's newer to it and he grew fast. So we're doing a panel specifically called From Vine to Viral that's going to have all of us on it. Rob Roberts, who's now with Orange Lounge Radio, is in the Guinness World Book of Records for the longest continuous live internet show. He's going to be hosting it. And Death Battle, we got one of the guys from Death Battle on too to talk about the different levels of creativity. And it's just one of these moments where I just want to hear their stories just as much as share some of mine of going, how did we come from where we came from and keep building, keep our sanity and adapt to the creativity and still be happy and sane. Right. And so that's the one I'm the most excited about.
I love it. And man, we're running out of time, and I have so many more questions to ask you. I can do this for hours.
Right.
There are people who feel, or who may feel like they've outgrown fandom, or that they are too old or too new to belong in these kind of spaces. What do you say to the people that that fall into those categories? So like outgrown the fandom, or they're too old, or this is too new for them. What do you say to those people?
You're the only one saying that to yourself. So why are you creating conspiracy theory against your own thoughts? I mean, who's telling you? If somebody's telling you're too old, they're not at Dragon Con. Because I love when I look up from any panel or walking into any room and there's somebody who's obviously 80 plus and they're just taking notes or asking questions or having, too young. Come on, man. Come on. I'm not connected. Look, I'm not connected. I barely have some anime on my walls. I barely know what I'm talking about with anime. But I will go to an anime panel and connect with people. You're stopping yourself. Stop committing hate crimes against your own mind.
Stop self-sabotage. Yeah. When Dragon Con 40 is over, right? And when you're looking back, what is going to make you stop and say that was a successful show?
That's, I don't know. So every year, it's everything for every creator is based on what you're going through in life. And there was a moment in time through a few years I was director there that every time we come out and people are like, oh, it was great. It was fun. It's good. I'm like, yeah, but I could have done that better. We could have done this better. We could have done that better. I've learned how to separate that. We have a final panel on Monday called Like and Subscribe, and it's the feedback panel. I just call that to make people laugh. But you get to come and share what you got out of it, what could be done better next year. But what makes me feel like it's a great show is usually Sunday night before I go see Botched, which is our final big show of the weekend. It's a D&D podcast that's drinking and debauchery and not very much D&D. I go to the empty room, usually sometime that night, and I look at it and I just kind of see how I feel about the whole weekend and just reflecting back on the people laughing, the people asking questions, seeing the creators do their thing. I think ultimately 40 or not, that is what makes it a great show. Just knowing that people wanted to be there and you're seeing them come in the room happy most of the time. Not everybody can be happy all the time, but just that energy when you walk through the rooms and you feel it, that's what tells me it was a good show.
Nice. And obviously this is our first time going and covering this. So for creators, for media outlets coming to Dragon Con, what is the best way that to work within the boundaries of the convention, right? To respect the process, to make sure we're helping rather than adding to the chaos?
Well, there's a process for press to do celebrity interviews. So that's not allowed on the Walk of Fame because there's just too much going on. So you go through there for that. Other than that, usually it's just consent is sexy, right? It is just asking, hey, can I talk to you for a minute? There's so many independent creators on top of just the people who love what's going on that put out so much great content throughout Dragon Con. It's the number one rule. Don't be an asshole. That's it. It's ask politely. Oh, it never hurts to ask, hey, can I interview this person? Can I talk to you for a minute? And respect that no is a full, complete sentence. And that, anything below celebrity is fair game. Just be human. When it is access, then I know you guys have applied, you're on the list. I'm only part of the interview process, part of it, like this. So I don't know if you get approved to talk to celebrities or not, but that's a process you go through, from your action and for how you handle yourself, I can imagine you did. But I have to guess. I do not know because there is a process that I'm not a part of. But then you follow that. And then if you didn't get it this, you can ask for what can I do different? That's a process that we have as well. And if you're just now listening to, oh, well, it's too late. It might not be too late to apply for press. You might still apply for press. I can't say you'll get it or not. It's really late in the game, but you can try. It never hurts to try. But if you hear that you want to, go and ask. You ask how it happens from anybody who got it. I always give people the recommendation of, if you want to be on a panel next year, go to a panel, ask a great question on the microphone to the panelists of the topic that means something to you, and then make sure you introduce yourself to, if you can, the director in the room. If not, introduce yourself to the volunteers, and they'll get the information to the director, because that's how you start really making your headway into doing what you want to do.
Yeah. I was going to say, I don't know why Pop Culture Warrior doesn't have this is going to be a panel or something. We got to be on something next year, man. We got to make this happen.
Oh, I make that easy. You get into the Discord, the digital media Discord, Linktree/DC Digital Media Track is where you'll find all the links. Discord's free and open to the public. You don't have to be a creator. You just have to be respectful. And as soon as I open up the application, there it is, and everybody's helping, and there's a whole room dedicated to panel ideas that is running all year round, with people talking and shooting ideas and working out things. As soon as we open up the application, there you go.
Yeah, I love it. Let's do a quick rapid fire. If you got a couple, I'm gonna hold you a couple extra minutes just because this is good stuff. Explain. This is something that I had to learn about. The badge ribbons. There's a thing. There's a fandom. There's a subculture within Dragon Con. Please let the people know. Explain the badge ribbons.
This year becomes a full culture in Dragon Con, with Dragon Con embracing the ribbons. So when Dragon Con when they were coming up and trying to figure out different ways to identify volunteers and directors and different things, they did badges. Like ribbons for the badges, and it would say whatever it was, volunteer stick. And then people thought that was cool, and they started doing ribbons. So then Dragon Con said, we're not doing ribbons anymore, and they actually tried to ban them for a while, and that's almost impossible. And it really has, like any other good subculture, it's almost cult-like, and the fact that people just make these ribbons. I was patting my pocket to see if I have my wallet, because I actually have one in my wallet. This year Dragon Con made director badges, so I have a ribbon. I keep saying badge, I mean ribbon. Has a ribbon for your badge that I'll put on mine that says director on it, just for fun. Anything and everything can be made, and it's so much fun to do it. And I don't know if there's an official contest or not, but I know in the Hilton, but in the Marriott, where they have all the floors, you can be on the balcony because it goes all the way up. It's a TWA for all those who follow Loki. It's a time bureau there. They will see how many balconies they can go up and throw their ribbons over and have it touch the ground. It's insane. But the best one, that's always really interesting and fun, but the best one is this lady for the last 2 years. And I hope she comes back this year. She tries to collect enough to make a cape. And usually by mid-Sunday, she has a cape of ribbons. And when I say ribbons, they are literally these 1 inch by 2 inch things that fit on a badge that just glue to it that save anything. I got one last year from Chet. He's not the creator, he wasn't there, but the Chet blew up on the internet last year, and some people cosplayed. And so I got a couple of Do It Lady badge ribbons. There was some French mountain climbing mime game that blew up last year, and they had ribbons that had the sayings from the game. So I grabbed one from my friend who was really into the game. I didn't know what it meant, but I handed it to him. I was like, oh my God, it's just everything. Sometimes it's your podcast show, Pop Culture Warrior, right? I knew it. I got it. You can put that on a badge ribbon. You can, you can be funny about it. I don't want to ruin the surprise, but I got some friends who are making some really cool ones. It is the funnest collectible you can get, and it's pretty much free. I'm not saying some people don't make them to sell them, because that's whatever, because it does cost money. But usually people, if you go, hey, can I have a ribbon? Or where did you get that ribbon? I mean, sometimes I pass them in the hallway, but just find them. Oh, there's a secret subculture as well. That's Swag and Seek. And it is a big group of people who come together on Thursday that make things, that buy things, and they put them in little baggies, and they go hide them all over the con all weekend long. And I'm talking about, you can look in the planters, look on a shelf, look on a little brick, and you'll find mini Legos and all kind of great geek things. That's just there for the taking.
I love it. As I've been diving deeper and deeper, I love everything I'm finding. So much so that we produced 2 one-of-a-kind ribbons that we're going to have, WTF Nation Radio ribbons with funny little things on them. We got 200 of them. We're going to be giving them away to anyone.
You'll run out of those by day one.
I know. They took, are really 200? I'm like, you guys don't get it. You don't get it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll have you have to like make me laugh or something, and you'll get a ribbon. So, I don't know, something. But yeah, okay. Quick rapid fire questions. What is one Dragon Con memory that still makes you laugh to this day?
I don't. All right. I was on a show called Booze and Phasers. And I mean, I guess on their panel, they did their live show. And I guess on their panel, because I was there on my network at the time. And for whatever reason, they decided that if every time the crowd said Hodor, because that just happened on Game of Thrones, I had to take a shot. And I got pretty drunk mid Sunday afternoon to the point that I'm laughing and I almost fall off the side of the stage. And the celebrity next to me has to grab me and pull me back in. I'm like, I'm so sorry. He's like, you're good. Because he was in on it too. Like he would start going, no, we need to take it easy on Hodor. I'm like, oh, shut up. Yeah, I had to be helped down off the stage and sat in the front row for the whole next panel. I couldn't move. It was a lot.
What is the strangest or most unexpected thing you have ever seen happen at a Dragon Con?
Last year, trying to walk through the big atrium area and had to stop for a bunch of Waluigis and Wario's doing a dance party to Golden from K-Pop Demon Hunter. And there's like 30 of them doing a dance off.
I love it. What fandom are you personally enjoying the most right now?
Demon Slayer. I just that solo leveling is very close for that fandom. Yeah. Demon Slayer all the way.
Fair enough. If someone never attended Dragon Con before, what is your single best piece of advice?
Hydrate/rest. You have to drink a lot of water. You got to know when to say when.
Yeah, because for those that don't know, this is a 24/7 marathon of nerddom. So you don't want to put yourself into an early grave.
It starts Thursday at 5. It ends Monday at 4. Those are the business hours of Dragon Con.
It's so true. Where should people go to keep up with you and find out more about Dragon Con's digital media track?
So I'll give it again, and it's also linked to mine. It's a Linktree/DC digital media track. It should get you everything that we do. We stream the 2 rooms that I Quody Fingers owns, so you see it live all weekend long on our Twitch channels. And for me personally, it's Linktree/RGOP42 because I'm the rock out of podcasting, and 42 is the answer to life, universe, and everything.
Outstanding. I've got nothing more for you. Charles McFall, you are a fucking legend. You are the rock god of podcasting. Thank you so much for taking time with us today. I hope you can take time out of your busy schedule so we can cross paths come Dragon Con. And I'm super fucking excited to be fist deep into Dragon Con. To really, I want to
have a puppetry track too. Just saying.
What's the old saying? Like, ride them hard, put them away wet. I want to come back dripping wet after Dragon Con, and I'm sure that you and your friends are going to make that happen for me. Ladies and gentlemen, Charles McFall, follow him, follow Dragon Con, go there, make sure you do all the love. I'm going to give you the last 2 seconds to say whatever you want to the audience that's watching at home, and then we'll toss to a break.
Look, I want you to come see my game show at Dragon Con. I believe it's Sunday at 4:00 in the afternoon at Crystal Ballroom in the Hilton. It's called Fandom Face Off, the ultimate game show of bad decisions.
Fucking love it. All right, there you have it, folks. We'll have more show right after this.
In the shadows of the city bright, where heroes rise and take the fight, there's a voice that breaks the night. It seeks you at the insight. From the comics to the silver screens, talk Talking legends and those crazy scenes. Pop culture trends and hidden themes. CQ reveals what it all means. From the comics to the silver screens. Talking legends and those crazy scenes. Pop culture trends and hidden themes. CQ reveals what it all means. Pop culture warrior here to ignite. Guiding through the tales of light. With CQ leading the charge so bright. We're ready for another flight. Pop culture warrior here to ignite. Guiding through the tales of light. With CQ leading the charge so bright. We're ready for another flight. Marvel at the twists and turns. Villains playing, heroes learn. Every episode we'll discern. Lessons from the past to learn. Games we play and books we read. CQ's list of what we need. Memories that make us bleed. Together we will take the lead. Pop culture warrior here to ignite. Guiding through the tales of light. With CQ leading the charge so bright. We're ready for another fight. Pop culture warrior here to ignite. Guiding through the tales of light. With CQ leading the charge so bright. We're ready for another fight. Pop culture warrior here to ignite. Guiding through the tales of light. With CQ leading the charge so bright. We're ready for another flight. Pop culture warrior here to ignite. Guiding through the tales of light. With CQ leading the charge so bright. We're ready for another flight.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. Welcome back. Charles, I mean, is it weird to say if I had like an alternate universe doppelganger, like it would be Charles McFall? Like, I'm sitting there and I'm listening to him and I'm like, were we separated at birth? Like what? Like, I don't like the mind wavelengths were just perfect. They were just man, I was I don't know where he ended and I began. Jesus. I gotta stop. That's too much. Thanks, Wade. I appreciate it. Dude, I gotta say though, I'm coming from somebody that has done San Diego Comic Con and New York Comic Con and all the Comic Cons, Pizza Con and Magic Con and all the cons, the cons. The more I've looked into Dragon Con and tried to understand the community and the process and the way things, because every convention runs differently and focuses on different things and brings different things to the table, but this is, it's different. It just is different. And I'm curious to see, compare like how I feel now to how I feel coming back from a 24/7 literal 5-day nonstop thrill ride of pop culture nerddom. But we'll see. We are from the same planet. Yes. He was made next to you in a lab. Yes. I do feel like there's a great way to put it. We were definitely made in the same factory, in the same geek lab. I do feel like we a lot of the same materials were used when making both of us. Absolutely. But But yeah, Dragon Con, super excited. That is happening. I think it's September 3rd through 7th, I want to say. I should know this. Let me pull it up. It's this September. Oh, I nailed it. 3rd through 7th. Ha ha. There you go. September 3rd through 7th, Dragon Con in Atlanta. Super excited to do it, man. That's one's been on my dream sheet for a little while, so finally happy to cross that one off. Next year we'll tackle some other ones like D23 and some others. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the end of another amazing episode of Pop Culture Warrior. Tonight we were joined by K-Mill in the first hour and Charles McFall in the second hour. Some things to look forward to around the horn. I'm pulling up the schedule. It says next week on Pop Culture Warrior, we have Daniel Futcher. I want to say if I remember correctly, he's a composer with his work being featured on like My Adventures with Superman and a few other things. Monday the 31st on the Monday edition, we got SG Blaze joining us. SG Blaze is an incredible science fiction writer who has a whole universe of books. It's going to be an incredible conversation with Ice on the Monday edition, August 31st with SG Blaze. Tuesday, September 1st, we got Christian Streety on Pop Culture Warrior. You forgive me, I forget what he's from. My God, we have so many guests coming on. I'm getting them all mixed up in my head. Friday, September 11th. It will be an FTX, but we have something super, super special planned. Tune in. Friday, September 11th, FTX. It's not your typical FTX. Let's just say that. Special guests, special events, special games, special. And then already looking out into the future, Tuesday, September 22nd, Ryan Oakley on Pop Culture Warrior. And then one that I'm super, super, super excited to finally announce. We were able to lock in a date. Tuesday, October 13th. We've got Glenn Mazzara coming on Pop Culture Warrior. Glenn Mazzara is one of the original showrunners of The Walking Dead on AMC, as well as a billion other things. He's an incredible dude. I got to sit down and talk with him at San Diego Comic-Con. Absolutely fucking just lit it up and had a great time. And he's an incredibly busy guy. And so we're finally able to lock him down October 13th. Tune into that one. That is going to be a really, really good one. Glenn Mazzara. Oh, Jesus Christ, Scott. I don't even know if I should repeat that on air, just because I don't want it being clipped and used against me in a court of law. Naughty. No, Scott. Oh, man. Great show. What an awesome person. Kudos. Thank you, Susan. I mean, he really is a cool dude. Really enjoyed Charles. And come hell or high water, I'm gonna find a way to wrangle him down at Dragon Con and get to talk to him face to face. Just because I gotta give the guy a high five or something. So, one last plug. Thanks to Double Time Sports Drink for being our drink sponsor here at WTF Nation Radio. We don't get paid for that. They just send us bottles of Double Time Sports Drink, which I appreciate because it keeps me hydrated. All right. That's about it. I got nothing less for you. Tune in next week. Shows all week. Sports Bar is finally back. Sports Bar is back this week. King and Me gets back, I think, next week or the week after. Smoke Pit is coming back soon. We're just figuring out a date that's going to work. And then shows the rest of the week. I mean, you know it. You love it. You're here. I don't gotta sell it to you. You know it. That's it. We'll see you guys next week. Shots.